Toronto is so big and has so many interesting things to do that I've decided to add to my list of 44 best places to visit, and so have created a second video, more best places to visit in Toronto. Ossington Avenue is an avenue in the west end of Toronto, and from Dundas to Queen it's kind of like a trendy neighborhood with lots of restaurants, bars, clothing stores. It's actually a pretty good vibe. It's actually a really cool vibe. 10 out of 10 recommend getting yourself a little treat. It's a good slogan. It's pretty funny. It's a cool building too. Yeah, it's actually a really good vibe down here today.
Removed, right? You work there, you work.
Canadian boxer George Chuvalo fought Muhammad Ali at Maple Leaf Gardens back in the day. Ali won on a unanimous decision. That's some cool Toronto history. Some really well done anime artwork on the outside of this business called Hobbiesville. In the first video of best places to visit in Toronto, I did Queen Street West, and this is actually West Queen Street West. So basically you keep on coming west past Spadina out into closer to really close to Trinity Bellwoods Park actually, and it's another kind of interesting neighborhood of Queen Street with clothing stores, restaurants. So it's a really cool vibe here actually. This is what the other part of Queen West kind of more used to feel like, and it's now a lot of kind of really big businesses and corporations, whereas this part here is now kind of independent clothing stores and independent businesses. some delicious looking berries there. Christie Pits Park is a medium-sized park in the west end of Toronto that is basically right out the front door of Christie subway station. In the winter you can play outdoor ice hockey here. There's basketball courts that get pretty competitive games going on in the summer on the weekends. Bloor Street from Christie to about Bathurst is known as Koreatown. It's home to lots of Korean businesses and restaurants and is right beside Christie Pits Park. So after going to the park, you can grab something to eat in Koreatown.
I did set it in and they said they would do.
I like the color scheme and the art in here. It's very nice. This is a mural kind of right in the middle of Koreatown. If you're into shoes, you should check out the Bata Shoe Museum, an entire museum just dedicated to shoes. Little Italy is on College Street, kind of west of Bathurst. The PG Clucks is apparently one of the best fried chicken places in Toronto. Never tried it myself, but a guy I know who's in the know says that. This is called the Local Gallery. It's 621 College Street. It has some really interesting art pieces here.
I love the art here. There's one thing I really want to buy.
Couple of Mexican restaurants. La Cantina del Pueblo, I've eaten there before, it's quite good. So this bakery, or I guess bagel shop, just opened up on College Street. I didn't try it myself. We actually just ate lunch before walking past, but there was a nice woman outside handing out free samples of pastries.
We have challah buns with chicken salad options, butter, spreads, and shortbread cookies, cheese, and cinnamons.
I know, but I put on the radio. What do you guys want to listen to? Yeah. You're not good.
Casa Loma is a really beautiful like castle or palace, basically, just north of kind of University of Toronto in the west end of Toronto. It was originally built in the early 1900s as a residence, and now has been used for many film sets for movies, TVs, music videos, all sorts of things. These are the kind of majestic walls on the outside of it, because it's not free. It's fairly expensive to get in, 30 plus Canadian dollars depending on what the event might be. Hello. Since February?
Yeah.
How's things going?
Good.
That looks amazing. I'm getting some jerk chicken on Eglinton. What's the name of this place? Humpy's Jerk. He's cooking this outside. It smells so good, it drew me right in. Eglinton Avenue West is the home of Little Jamaica, so Toronto's Jamaican community, and it has a really rich history in reggae music. Outside of Jamaica, this is the area where the most amount of reggae has been recorded. In 2015, a large mural was unveiled in the laneway just east of Oakwood Avenue called Reggae Lane. Leslieville is an area in the east end of Toronto, primarily along Queen Street East, and it's home to lots of restaurants, clothing stores, and various other businesses. There's a TV show that was really popular in Canada. It started out in the 80s called Degrassi Junior High, and it morphed into other series like Degrassi High, which Drake was actually part of. I believe that was his first foray into show business. And the show was loosely based upon Degrassi Street and Leslieville and the areas around Degrassi Street. Woodbine Beach is a large sandy beach at the foot of Woodbine Avenue, basically where Woodbine Avenue meets the water, Lake Ontario, in the east end of Toronto. Kind of a cloudy day today in the middle of the week, so it's not too busy, but in the summer when it's hot on the weekend, this would be absolutely packed. The beaches are a neighborhood in the east end of Toronto, actually quite close to Woodbine Beach, and they play host to a huge jazz festival each summer, the Beaches Jazz Festival. Kew Gardens is a nice park kind of right in the heart of the Beaches neighborhood. In my first video, 44 best places to visit in Toronto, everything was essentially on the subway line or walking, whereas this part of the video is out of the city, so you are going to need a car to access a lot of the next destinations. The Rouge National Urban Park is an absolutely massive park that takes up 75 square kilometers. Some of it is in the city of Toronto, where I am now, and then it extends north into other communities north of Toronto. There are occasionally bear sightings because, well, this is a massive forest and there are bears in Canada. There's many different ways to access it because it's just so big. There's not just one entrance, there's many entrances. Bear-proof garbage bins. All of the park is fairly far from downtown, so you will need a car to come up here. There would be no subway or public transportation really. And if there was, it might be buses. It would probably take you all day to get here. If you like hiking though and want to see some nature, this is a really big beautiful natural park, and it would be a great day trip to get out of the urban part of Toronto. This park is so massive that you could probably spend, I imagine, practically the rest of your life trying to go on all the trails here. It is just so big. The area northeast of Toronto just has so much forested and natural area, and Parks Canada has created this park to try and kind of unify it all. And if you are an outdoor enthusiast, this Rouge National Urban Park doesn't really get too much better if you're looking for nature and hiking trails. Just unbelievable how big it is and how beautiful it is. Pretty steep trail into the forest there. Pretty amazing that downtown Toronto is only a, I don't know, 45-minute drive from here. This feels like you could be a million miles from a big city. The Toronto Zoo is the largest zoo in Canada with over 1 million visitors every year. The zoo is located in Scarborough, so basically the east end of Toronto, so fairly far from the downtown. If you do come out here and you are interested in the Rouge National Park, the two are quite close to each other, so you could do a day trip. The zoo itself is quite large and divided into 7 geographic areas. There are over 3,000 animals in the zoo, and it is open to the public every day of the year. Guild Park and Gardens is a park in Scarborough, so the east part of Toronto. Much outside of the downtown, a beautiful park, and has lots of sculptures that were saved from old like bank buildings and such in downtown Toronto. When they demolished the building, they saved the stone sculptures and brought them out here. This one was on the Bank of Montreal at King and Bay Streets in downtown Toronto. And when they, I guess, demolished that building, they brought it out to Guild Park to save the artwork. These statues that they saved from the outside of the old stone bank buildings are really neat. It's a great idea to preserve them. Some really nice statues here. Old statues that they've saved. If you like old architecture and statues, the Guild Park, you'd definitely should come and see. By Jacobine Jones on the Bank of Montreal building called Wolves. I believe this building is just used for events now. It was an inn for something like 50 years, but it hasn't been used as an inn or a hotel for a long time. But they did renovate it, and it is used for events, I believe, now. So this is a much newer addition, looks like, although they have incorporated still some of the statues into the design, which is interesting. Clark Center for the Arts. Wow, they even incorporated that one right into the building here. Very unique place, this Guild Park. So Guild Park does also have a lot of hiking trails through the forest. The front part is kind of like open grounds with all the statues, but there are a number of hiking trails. It's also really close, or essentially right on Lake Ontario. It's like a nice kind of elevated boardwalk above like a little swampy, marshy area. Pretty majestic pathway here. A lot of the paths, like the nature paths, the hiking trails at the Guild Park, are just that. They're nature trails, but some of them, like this one, actually has sculptures that they've reclaimed, kind of built into the landscape, into the path. Such an interesting idea to reclaim all these statues and put them into a park where someone can enjoy them, where people can enjoy looking at them again forever, essentially. It's a hairy woodpecker, apparently. This is just such a unique, interesting park with all this artwork here, and then the walking trails. Oh, what a great job they've done here. Don't think a lot of people really know too much about it. It is in like a fairly kind of far out location. It's quite far from downtown. There's some more of the provincial plaques. Alberta, Manitoba, Northwest Territories, Saskatchewan. Bluffs unstable, do not enter. Lake Ontario there. This is another one of those places I could just stay at all day. It's just so beautiful and interesting here. I'm gonna say that Guild Park is one of my actual favorite locations in Toronto. It's in Scarborough, so it's actually it's in the greater Toronto area, but wow, what a I think I've said it 1,000 times, but it's just such an interesting place. Bluffers Park is a large park, really big actually, is part of what they call the Scarborough Bluffs. So basically cliffs overlooking Lake Ontario in the east end of Toronto, Scarborough. There's a beach here, there's trails, there's all sorts of things. It's really large. Bluffers Park Beach, proud to fly the blue flag. So it's clean here. Oh, nice. This is Bluffers Park Beach, a massive sandy beach. Those cliffs up top are what they refer to as the Scarborough Bluffs. Which is Scarborough's the east part of Toronto. Bluffers Park has this beach area, but it has a lot more like picnic areas and walking trails. It's really, really big, and it's actually it's the most known of the parks near the Scarborough Bluffs, but there's actually other ones as well. But this is the biggest one. There's a lot of parking lots, and again, this is out of downtown, so you're not taking the subway to this. You have to drive, or I think there might be buses or something. Probably take you a really long time. A little hiking trail right beside the beach. Actually a lot of naturally beautiful things in Scarborough. It's mostly known as being like a big kind of urban suburb beside Toronto, but there are lots of interesting parks like this one. This yacht club here is just absolutely massive too. This is just one part of it. There's actually a whole bunch of boats and yachts here. Oh, that's a nice boat straight ahead there. Oh, there's like houses here. Oh wow.